Hi there. How are you? Forrest Nance here. Well, as promised to some of my constituents on Facebook, some of my personal friends, and people that I've had the pleasure of meeting throughout my promotional career, because I promoted shows for over 30 years in my area. By the way, I'm broadcasting from Newark, New Jersey. My name is Forrest Nance. I can be found on Facebook. And for those of you out there who know me, I said I was going to do a podcast. Now, before I get into the topics that will basically be discussed and the theme of my podcast, let me give you a number. Area code 516-418-5614. Repeat, 516 area code 418-5614. Take that number down beginning January the 9th, which is a Saturday, and every Saturday thereafter. I'm going to have my podcast air between 7 and 9 p.m. DJ Andre is going to be the man behind the wheels of steel with this. Now, let me say this to you. This is not a dysfunctional podcast. The name or the theme of my podcast is called Grown Folks Talking, Express Yourself. Now I'm letting you know, for all you people that like to talk about sex, masturbation, I'm bringing health and healing to our community, our culture, which has been devastated by this plandemic. I didn't say pandemic, plandemic. What do I mean? Well, you got to tune into the podcast because I'm going to have people break it down. I'm bringing people that are master herbalists in, people that are in the field of wellness, all right? And before you go and say, oh, this guy's a health nut, no. I'm also going to discuss politics. I'm going to bring in regular doctors that you go to see, primary care doctors to talk to you, all right? Politics. Back in the day, clubs. And now listen now, just because I'm broadcasting from Newark, New Jersey, I want you to understand something here, all right? That what happens here in Newark can also happen in St. Louis, St. Petersburg, Alabama, Los Angeles, all across the nation, across the world. I'm dealing with different ethnicities. It's not just for my culture, which is the African American culture, but Caucasian, Asian, my dear Hispanic brothers and sisters, brotherhood throughout the whole world. I want you to chime into this podcast because it's going to be one hot podcast. We're going to discuss everything, and I want to hear from you. Now, the good thing about this podcast is that number that I just gave you, 516-418-5614, guess what? The good thing is that when you call in, you can just listen, or you can hit the number 1 button and you can participate. And I want people that want to participate because guess what? I'm never too old, never too young to learn anything. When I say young, I'm talking about you young folks out there that want to learn something from us, OGs that you call us, okay? You can learn something, all right? And for people that are having, like I said, health situations, chime in. Might be able to help you with a certain underlying issue, okay? Politics, we'll discuss politics, but we're not gonna get on here and rant and rave and act uncivilized toward each other. We're gonna have a discussion. And in the end, if we agree to disagree, that's fine, okay? But in this time, all right, we need to discuss things, talk to each other. Now, Facebook is okay, but we all know the next best thing to touching someone, to reach out to touch someone, is to embrace someone with a conversation. All that texting and stuff, that's fine, all right. I'm not too much of a text person anyway. You got to do it because it's modern technology. But I feel as though that when you're actually talking to someone, you get a feel for the sincerity of that person, all right? Politics. Back in the day, I'm going to talk about back in the day, clubs, which basically now are non-existent. You can't go out and party no more, not in crowds no more. There's no such thing as herd immunity, even though some people are trying to practice that, okay? But that's your business, okay? So, with that being said, all right, I want you to tune into the podcast. It's called Grown Folks Talking, Express Yourself, all right? The air, premiere date, grand opening date, January 9th, 2021. Start your new year off right. Between 7 and 9, I gave you the number, all right? You make sure that you tune in. Now, wait a minute. Now, just to make sure I got the right number here, area code is, 516-418-5614. Make sure, all right, and tell your friends and let their friend tell a friend, come in and join in on the most hottest, I know you don't put it that way, I'm just saying, this is my way of saying it in my English terminology, the most hot podcast that's going to be on the scene, because I'm going to be delving into many different issues that affect us all. We're going to discuss everything. Don't think it's just going to be all about politics and health and nutrition and things like that do affect us. I want you young people to chime in on this, all right? Because you can learn something from this OG over here, all right? So, with that being said, you have the number, you have the grand opening date. Make sure you tune in, because if you don't use it, you're gonna lose it, all right? I want you to come in on my podcast. Thank you for listening, and from time to time, I'll be putting up on Facebook different topics. Once I see what you guys are talking about out there, I will address it, and then I'll address it on the podcast. Communication is the key. Y'all be safe out there. Keep your immune systems built up strong, and we're going to talk more. Peace.